ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधेतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः. Today happens to be Saturday, so we are doing, today it happens to be Monday, and therefore we are doing Upadesha Sahasri. And in that Upadesha Sahasri, we have done up to 157 page, 22nd verse. That is the Adhyaya, maybe something. Adhyaya is Nanyat Prakaranam. There is no other except Paramatma. Bhagavan alone is not a kind of Bhagavan. Bhagavan alone is. There is no different, that there is, even the universe is non-different from Bhagavan. Therefore, Nanyat Prakaranam. There is nothing other than Brahman. There is nothing other than you. As in Sushupti, you are Nanyat Prakaranam. You are Nanyat. Nanyat means you are indeed, you don't see anything. Everything is unmanifest in Sushupti, and therefore you are Nanyat in Sushupti. In that manner, in this, Bhagavan also is Nanyat. Bhagavan also is alone there. Bhagavan alone is there. That is in that Prakaranam we have to do, 22nd verse we have to do. Dakshinakshi Pradhaneshu. Dakshina means the right side. The right side of a person is considered to be stronger. Dakshina Akshi means the eye, the right eye, Pradhaneshu. All the senses around the eyes are also the right eyes. The right side, Pradhaneshu. Buddhir yada buddhir vichishtate. When you use the senses, when you use the eyes and other senses to perceive the objects, they look like objects of perception, but they are not objects of perception. They are perception themselves, and therefore they are not objects of perception. They are perception themselves. This you have to understand clearly. They are not objects of perception. See, there is a difference between to be an object of perception and to be perception. Like snake, it looks like an object of, I am seeing the snake. You may say, at that time it looks like an object of perception, but it is not an object of perception. It is perception. You perceive it, and therefore Bhagavan Shankara also says it is only what is it called? Thought is called. There are only sankalpas. There are only sankalpas. There are only thoughts. There are only pratyayas. There are only pratyayas. There are these pratyayas, pratyarupaha. There are only pratyayas. The pratyayas, until they are understood as pratyayas, they look like objects of perception. The perception looks like an object of perception. Snake is a perception, but it looks like an object of perception before I understand. Therefore, it is a perception. It looks like an object of perception. But in the same manner here also, when a person uses the right eye and all the senses, and tada yada buddhir vicheshtate, when he sees the objects, as though the objects are there are objects of perception. Vishayehi havisha. Then the objects become only the oblations of objects. The objects are oblations of objects. Vishayehi havisha deepta. Deepta means Atmagni. Deepta means it is illumined by the Atma, Atmagni. Atma is considered to be Agni, and objects are like the oblations of the objects. When the oblations of the objects are given, you have to understand they are not oblations of the objects of perception. They are only manifest in they are manifest in the self, but they are illumined by the self. They are manifest in the self, they are illumined by the self. And therefore, Atmagni, at that time it is called Sthola book. The Sukham and Dukkham, there it enjoys the Sukham and it enjoys the Dukkham. It thinks, the self itself thinks that I am the Sukhi, I am the Dukhi. Consciousness thinks. But consciousness alone is. When consciousness alone is, it doesn't know that it alone is. It thinks that it is the body, and therefore it becomes the jiva. Otherwise, it is only Paramatma. It is Brahman. It is unlimited. Limited to the body, it is jiva. Unlimited by the body, it is Brahman. Limited to the body, it is jiva. Not limited by the body, it is Brahman. And therefore, you have to understand that this objects are like oblations. They are not outside the Atma. They are not outside awareness. They are inside awareness. Just as the waves are inside water, they are not outside water. They are not outside water, with which it is they are born, from which they are born. They are not outside the water. The waves are inside water. In the same manner, here also, the objects are in the oblations when they are offered unto the Atmagni, they become one with the Atmagni. If you offer them unto the Atma, then you are a jnani. When you offer the objects unto the Atmagni, you think that the objects are not objects, they are only vasanas, they are only perception, they are only perceptions, they are only pratyarupas, looking like objects of perception. They are only perceptions looking like objects of perception. In this manner, when you offer them unto the fire of Atma, they become one with fire. As one with Atma, they are indeed Atma becomes Advitiyam. Atma is Advitiyam. Atma is inclusive of everything. Atma is inclusive of everything. When Atma is inclusive of everything, Atma is Advitiyam. And therefore, here Sthola Bhuktada. At that time, when it thinks that it is the body, then it thinks that it is the body, it is a jiva, and it is subject to become Sukhi and Dukhi. Then it is Sthola book, the dream waking objects. It is the Sthola book means Sthola book, it is the enjoyer of the gross objects. It is the enjoyer of the gross objects, but without being the enjoyer of the objects, also it can exist also. It is awareness by nature. It is one without a second. That is its nature, and that nature alone is. But in everything else is only a prakriya. It is only a avidya kalpitam. It is shastra kalpita prakriya, and therefore that you have to offer to the that you have to understand the objects to be inseparable from the self, and that is all prakriya. But even if you understand that they are inseparable from the objects, inseparable from the self, even if you understand, it doesn't matter. Even before you understand, they are one with the self. And therefore, you only have to understand that I am the seer, and as the seer alone is the truth. Seer is the truth, and the seen is non-separate from the seer. The seen is non-separate from the seer. If the seen is non-separate from the seer, then the seer is Brahman, is inclusive of everything. In this manner, it understands. Then it is called Sthola book. At that time, it is Sthola book. And therefore, Huyante tu Abhinsheti, Rupadi Grahane Smaran. Huyante, when the objects of oblations are offered unto the fire of Atma, Huyante, they are offered Huyante iti. Havinshi means the oblations of the objects. Iti. Rupadi Grahane. When you perceive the objects are perceived, smaran, remembering that the objects are only, they are not objects of perception, they are perception themselves. In this manner, remembering, remember, smaran, rupadi grahane means rupa, rasa, gandha, etc. Grahane in perceiving, while perceiving the objects, while perceiving the objects, when you see, remembering, what do you have to under araga dvesha, and you should be free from raga and dvesha. That subjectivity you are free from. Subjectivity you are free from. And Atma Agnav, Atma, in the onto the fire of the Atma, onto the fire of Atma, Atma Agnav, Atma Agnav, Jagrut dosha hi na lipyate. A person is not affected by the waking impurities. Waking impurities means the waking impurities are the divisions. The divisions are not, they don't affect the person because he is free from the subjectivity. He is free from likes and dislikes, and therefore he is not affected by the ragadveshas. He is not affected by the impurities of the waking state. If he is not affected by the impurities of the waking state, what are the impurities? The sense of division. The sense of division is not doesn't affect him. Why? Because the sense of division doesn't affect him because he knows that the objects are non-separate from himself. Atma. Atma Agnav. Atma Agni. Atma Agnav. Atma Agnav. Jagrad dosha hi na lipyate. Offering unto the object, offering the object, oblations of the objects unto the fire of Agni, he is not affected by. He is not. It means understanding that the objects are not outside awareness; they are only within awareness. That the awareness is all inclusive; it is not exclusive of anything. In this manner, thinking, remembering, he is not affected by any waking impurities. Waking impurity is only the sense of division. The sense of division is not, and even if you see arguments, etc., even if somebody argues, you are not affected by. Even if somebody says the Dvaitam is true, even if he argues, you are not affected by it. You know that the Advaitam is the truth. In this manner, Huyante to Havim Shiti Rupadi Grane Smaran. Remember Rupadi Grane while perceiving. Remember Aragadveshaha, son. Free from the Ragadvesha, etc. Atma Gnav, Jagrad Dosha hi Alipyate. A person who offering unto the objects, offering the objects unto the fire of Atma, unto the fire of Atma. Unto the fire of Atma means unto the awareness of Atma, and that they are not outside awareness, Atma, they are within Atma. They are non-separate. In Ananyatvam in the Atma, Ananyatvam with the Atma. When they are the Ananya with the Atma, then they are not outside Atma. Then you are not affected by a perception. You are not affected by the sense of division. The sense of division goes away. This is what is said. And therefore, in the second verse, in the 23rd verse, it is made clear that you are not affected by the waking impurities, because you are thinking, you are remembering that all objects are only perceptions, and they are not outside Atma, because pratyas cannot exist outside Atma. A thought cannot exist outside awareness. A thought exists only inside awareness, and therefore all manifestations of the impressions, they are called vasanas. Vasanas means impressions. The impressions means they cannot be exhausted. They have to be understood that they are indeed vasanas means in impressions. Impressions means the universe has got impressions. It becomes manifest impressions, unmanifest impressions. When they become manifest and unmanifest, it remains an object. And therefore, the Atma is something that is the seer of both of them. The manifest is seen, the unmanifest is seen as a darkness. The unmanifest also, when you don't see the objects also, it looks as though darkness. You see as though darkness. But the darkness also falls within awareness. And therefore you are not affected by the waking impurities. That is what is said in this 23rd verse. I mean, Rupadi Grahane. Here, what is to be remembered is that that the objects are only objects of. They look like objects of perception, but they are not objects of perception. They are only perceptions. They are not outside the self. These 2 points you have to remember, that they are only perceptions. They look like objects of perception, but when you start thinking, when you start understanding, then they look like only perceptions. And then therefore, and then what else you have to remember is that the Atma is all inclusive. All the thoughts cannot exist outside awareness. Thoughts can exist only inside awareness. Those thoughts look like perceptions, look like objects of perception, but then as though they are outside our awareness. If they are objects of perception, but because if they are perceptions, perception cannot exist without awareness also, and therefore they are all perceptions. And therefore perceptions, understanding that the Atma is all inclusive, then you are not affected by, even the divisions are included by the awareness. Even the divisions are between the division between object and object, that whatever division is there, that division also is spatial division. That spatial division also exists within awareness, is made of awareness. Akasha also is made of awareness. Time is made of awareness. And therefore, Jagra dosha he na lipyate. This is what we have seen. And then the 24th verse is Manasetu grihe vyaktaha. If something is manifest in the grihe, it should be guhaji, not grihe. In the mental, in the mind, in the mind of my mental cave, in the mental cave manifest. Vyakta means manifest. Saha avidya karma vasana. Avidya varna karma vasana. The manifest impressions of the objects. The objects become manifest in the form of the perceptions, in the form of the in awareness itself. In awareness, they become manifest in the mental cave. In the mental cave means mental guha, in the dream. That is called the mind. In the mind, so avidya karma vasana. Due to avidya and karma, and due to avidya, karma, kama and karma, vasana, the impressions of avidya, the impressions of kama, the impressions of karma, they are due to them, due to avidya, due to kama, due to karma, they all manifest in the dream. They all manifest, they become manifest in the dream. Avidya karma vasana, pashan, seeing, and the one who sees them is none other than Atma. The seer of Atma, the seer of them is Atma. Pashan Taijasaha. At that time he is called Taijasaha. As the Stolabhuki he is called Virat. He is called Vishwaha. He is called Vishwaha. Vishwaha is called Virat. If you understand it is Virat, otherwise, if you take yourself to be the body, then you are Vishwaha. But Vishwaha is defined, is equated with Virat. This Vishwaha is Virat. Saptanga is given in the Mundaka Upanishad, and therefore Vishwa is Virat. And Vishwa is Vaishwanaraha. He is Vaishwanaraha. He is Vaishwanaraha means he is Virat. He is Virat. He is Virat. He is Virat. And therefore, in the same manner, the dreaming consciousness, the dreamer consciousness, everything is manifest in the dreaming consciousness. At that time, he is Taijasaha, and that therefore he is called Taijasaha. Tejomaya Antakana Vritti Rupaha. Tejomaya Antakana Vritti Rupaha. Everything is in the mind only. And Taijaha, Tejamaya is only in the awareful thinking, in the form of awareful thinking. Everything is manifest in that mind, mental cave. Everything is manifest in the mental cave. Pashan Taijasaha Atma Uktaha. Atma Uktaha. And the self is called Taijasaha. Atma Uktaha means the self is called Taijasaha. The self at that time, Pashan, you see the thoughts. You see the thoughts. They look like objects, but when you wake up, they are look like thoughts only. But these very perceptions look like objects of perception. The thoughts look like objects of perception. Thoughts look like objects, and therefore, when before you wake up, before you falsify them, before you understand them, they all look like objects of perception. Atma Uktaha Swayam Jyoti Prakashitaha. And at that time, and they're all illuminated within the Swayam Jyoti. Swayam Jyoti means they are all seen not in the light of the physical light, not in the but in the light of awareness. They're all appearing. All the objects are seen. The entire dream is perceived in the light of awareness only, please, in the light of Atma only, and therefore it is called Swayam Jyoti. Swayam Jyoti means the Atma is Swayam Jyoti. When the sun sets, what are the lights? One does Vyavahara in the light of the stars. When the stars set, what is the when the sun sets? What is the light? Moon is the light. When the moon sets, what is the light? The stars are the light. When the stars also set, what is the light? The candles, etc. The local fire, etc. When that also sets, what is the light? It says the speech. Walk is the. You have to just go by. Supposing it's all dark, you can only go by sound only. Like Dasharatha killed Rama, that man. Uh, what is his name? Shravan Kumar. Dasharatha killed Shravan Kumar also only by sound only. He did Vyavahara, and therefore he did. Therefore, only to the sound one does Vyavahara. You hear the sound of a person, and then you go there. You come here. You come here. It is all dark, and then through the sound you manage yourself. You go out and you come back, and then in the dream you don't carry any waking bundle, waking candles, but then you don't lit up any candles there. Everything you see, candles also are seen only in the light of awareness. Even the sun is seen just as in the waking state. The sun is seen in the light of awareness. The physical lights are also seen because they're all objectifiable. The physical light is seen in the light of awareness. If the light of awareness were not there, then you can't see anything. Just as in the deep sleep state, you don't see anything, and therefore not that the light of awareness is not there, but then you don't see anything. Not seeing anything, any object also looks like darkness, and therefore you don't have to close your eyes. If you don't see an object, it looks like darkness, and the darkness also falls within awareness, and therefore you are called Swayam Jyotihi. Because Swayam Jyoti means it is the illuminar, it is the light in which everything is seen, the darkness is seen, the objects are perceived. They are only objects of, they look like objects of perception, they are indeed perceptions themselves. This you have to remember always, please. While doing vichara, you have to remember this one point, and the objects are only objects of perception. Objects are not objects of perception. They are not objects of perception, they are perceptions themselves. In this manner, you have to understand. Swayam Jyoti, Atma is Swayam Jyoti, Swayam Siddha. Swayam Jyoti means Swayam Siddha. Swayam Jyoti means self light, self Swayam, so itself is the light in which you see. And it is Swataha Siddha. It is self-existent, and it is self-existent and self-evident. And this is very important. Atma is Swata Siddha. You don't have to you don't have to use the, it is not Pramana Siddham. You don't have to open your eyes and see yourself. You don't have to hear yourself. You don't have to taste yourself, touch yourself, smell yourself. But still you know that you are there. And therefore you are Swata Siddha. You are not Pramana Siddha. Atma is Swata Siddha. Atma is not Pramana Siddham. The Jagat is Pramana Siddham. The creation is Pramana Siddham. Creation means it is looked upon, it is treated as creation. Otherwise, it is a perception. It is a perception, and therefore, it is only a perception. It looks like an object of perception, but it is a perception, and therefore, it is treated as a creation for the Uttama Manda Madhyama Adhikaris. Depending upon the Adhikari Veda, what is Adhyasta? Adhyasa is understood that everything is falsifiable, and then it is treated as a creation for the sake of Manda Madhyamadhikaris, and therefore it is called Swayam Siddha, Swayam Jyotihi, and Swayam Jyotihi Prakashita, Swayam Jyoti Prakashita. Everything is it is Prakashita. It is evident. It is evident by itself. It is evident by itself. Swayam Jyotihi Prakashita. Prakashita. It is Prakashita. Atma is Prakashita. Atma is Prakashita by its own light. It is Swata Siddham. It is self-existent and self-evident. Having understood this, and then we go to the next verse. Vishayaha Vasana Vapi. Vishaya as objects or as impressions. The thoughts are the vasanas means the thoughts. The thoughts. Vasanas means Vishayaha Vasanaha means the vasanas of impressions. The impressions of the objects. When it is manifest, it is a vasana. When it is unmanifest, it is vasana. And therefore, Vishayaha Vasana Vape. Vishayaha Vasana. When you go to the deep sleep state, they are not neither in the form of the objects nor in the form of the thoughts. Neither you see the objects nor you have the thoughts. Api chodyante. They are not there. Naiva karma bihi. Naiva. And they are not karma bihi means avidya, kama and karma, they are not there. It is not a state of avidya, kama karma bihi. Not chodyanti. They are not inspired. Thoughts are not made. Thoughts are not there. Objects are not there by avidya, because avidya itself is not there. Avidya, kama and karma, they are not there. They are not there. And therefore, yada buddhau tada jnaya. In the intellect, there are no thoughts, and there are no objects are perceived as objects of perception. They are not perceived, and therefore, it is at that time it is called prajnaha. Yada jnaya prajnaha. Atma ananyadruk. Ananyadruk is important. It doesn't see anything else. It doesn't see it. It is there. It alone is there. It doesn't see anything. When it doesn't see anything, when you say that I did not see the world, these objects I did not see, this space I did not see, this time I did not see, these elements I did not see, these mountains I did not see, this jiva also me say as the body I did not see, my body I did not feel, I did not see, my breath also I did not see, my thoughts I did not see, the objects I did not see. At that time you are called you are prajnaha. When you don't see anything, it looks like as though the darkness. When you don't see an object, it looks like a darkness. And therefore, when you see the objects and understand, and therefore when you have to come back to the body, only in the embodiment is the adhyasa, and within the adhyasa you can correct it. Adhyasa can be corrected when it is manifest. When within the waking state, it can be corrected, and therefore you have to have the embodiment to correct it. Without the embodiment, you have to look after embodiment actually in order to correct in order to correct adhyasa. If adhyasa is gone, then there is no problem. If adhyasa is if you go to sushupti, the adhyasa is not gone. Adhyasa. You don't see the things. That is all right. It is not a state of avidya. It is not, nor is it a state of vidya. It is a state of aloneness. Aloneness means advitiyatvam. It is advitiya. It is swayam pratishtha. It is swayam. It is swa. It is indeed Swarupa Avastha. It is indeed Swarupa Avastha. It is Swarupa Avastha. It is not Avidya Avastha. It is not Jnana Avastha, because not seeing the objects cannot be considered as the non-dual state cannot be considered as Vidya Avastha or Avidya Avastha. Even in the Swarupam is Advitiyam alone. Even the Swarupam of Atma is Avidya, is only Advitiyam. And that Advitiyatvam alone is there in Sushupti. Even it may look like a darkness, but the darkness is within awareness. And Advitiyatvam, it is neither the state of Vidya nor the state of Avidya. It is indeed the state of Swarupa Avastha. It is indeed Swarupa. Swarupa means Advitiyam. Advitiyam alone is there. If somebody were to say that when a person teaches that I am going to teach you Advitiya Atma, you can ask a question. All right, what is the pramanam? Where is it available? It has to be within experience. The Advitiya Atma has to be within experience in order to understand. Like a scientist, what is within experience, he understands the objects. He analyzes the objects which are already within experience. If they are not within experience, then you can't analyze them. And therefore, all analysis is only about what is within experience. And therefore, heaven you can't analyze. Similarly, Advitiya Atma cannot be taught if it is not within experience. And that experience is only in Sushupti. And therefore, it is called Prajna. It is called Prajna. Prajna means Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnana means Brahma. Prajnana means awareness is Brahma. Prajnana is Brahma. Prajna. That Prajna is indeed Ishvaraha. Prajna is indeed Ishvaraha. Yesha Ishvaraha. Yesha Prajna is indeed the source of the creation and the support of the creation and the resolution of the creation. Prajna Atma Ananyadrak. This Ananyadrak means he doesn't see anything else other than himself. He alone is there. He alone is there. He is Advitiyam. And therefore it's called Prajna. It's called Prajna Atma. And as a dreamer, he is called Taijus Atma. The Atma is called Taijusam. And as the waker, he is called Sthola book, Sukshma book, and Pravivikta book, etc. is there. But then he is not any book. He is not enjoying. In the Sushupti, he is not enjoying. He is only enjoying Ananda book. He is only enjoying the Anandam. He is being Anandam. He is not enjoying Anandam, he is being Anandam. And then Advitiya means he is being. He is being Anandam. He is being Anandam. He is not enjoying Anandam. Whereas in the dream you enjoy the thoughts as the objects. And also in the waking, you enjoy the perceptions, you only as the objects. Perceptions, you only enjoy the perceptions as the objects. You think they are objects of perception, but they are perceptions themselves. In this manner, the 25th verse is over. Then we come to 26th verse. 26th verse we will see in the next class. Thank you very much. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir.